Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to be doing a way too early college football preseason poll for the upcoming 2022 regular season, and I'll tell you why I'm going to do that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But first, I've got a couple of thoughts on the NFL championship games from this past Sunday for the AFC and the NFC. I was half right. I predicted the Chiefs and the Rams would win, and it was the Bengals and the Rams. So Super Bowl will be the Bengals and the Rams, and it looked like the Chiefs were not only going to win the game, but they were going to blow out the Bengals. They got up 21-3, and then the rest of the game, their offense didn't do anything until the very end of regulation when they tied the game at 24 on a field goal and then lost it in overtime. But when they made that field goal, I thought, man, 2 straight weeks, the Chiefs are going to win in overtime. But it was not meant to be, and Andy Reid better be careful, because if you're an NFL follower, you know that he was the coach with the Eagles for a long time, and he just about won 10 or 11 games every single year and made the Super Bowl that one time and lost. But Andy Reid grew the reputation for having a good regular season but just never could win when it mattered. So, he got a lot of credit when the Chiefs finally won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, but now it looks like that's the only one they're going to get, because this year was their year to get another one, and they didn't. But now with the Bengals, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins together are a great trio. The only thing holding the Bengals back from being a phenomenal football team is their offensive line. Their offensive line couldn't block a nosebleed, and they're already one of the best, if not the best, offenses in the NFL. If they can just make their offensive line average, just make them decent, just make them mediocre, then the Bengals offense is going to be tough to stop for years to come. So this might be their year, because if you can be this good when your guys are this young, I don't see anything that's stopping them. Now, I know on paper the Rams are the better team, but the Rams have been one of the best, if not the best, teams in football for 3 or 4 years now. And they just continue to make their roster better, but they continue to not be able to win. But we'll find out. Maybe they'll win it this time around. I know I'm certainly pulling for the Bengals. But as far as the Rams game goes, the Chiefs got out to the big lead and let it get away. The Rams had to come from behind. They were actually down 17-7 going to the fourth quarter. Now, if you watched the game and you've seen the first half, that's probably about the best that Jimmy Garoppolo can play. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. But Jimmy Garoppolo, he tries, he wants to, he has the heart, he just can't throw. He has a noodle arm. So to me, in a way, it goes to show how good of an offensive mind Kyle Shanahan is, to be able to go out there and not have a great offense, but have a good enough offense to be competitive with a quarterback that can't throw but 15 yards. And Jimmy Garoppolo has already said some things to where it sounds like he thinks he's on the way out in San Fran, even though there's been no official word as of yet. But Kyle Shanahan is starting to grow a reputation, just like Andy Reid, that he can't win a big game, because if you're a Kyle Shanahan follower, you know he was the Falcons' offensive coordinator when they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl and had that big lead and let it get away when they were up 28-3. And there was a few times in that game, especially in the fourth quarter, that the Falcons could have put the game away, but Kyle Shanahan played conservative, and he played not to lose instead of playing to win, and the Patriots came back and won the game. And then a couple of years ago, San Fran made the Super Bowl, and there was a couple times in that game where he got, according to some people, too conservative and cost San Fran that game. Well, again, Sunday in the fourth quarter, because of Sean McVay's stupidity, in the middle of the fourth quarter, the Rams are already out of timeouts. So San Fran had a 4th and 2 from the Rams' 45-yard line. And a lot of people think that San Fran should have gone for it, even though it was 4th down, because with the Rams being out of timeouts, if San Fran just goes for it and gets the first down, they can kill another 3 or 4 minutes off the clock and win the game. But Kyle Shanahan got conservative, he punted, and the Rams came back and won the game. So it just goes to show how hard it is to be a head coach, because when he's conservative, he gets the blame. When he's too aggressive, he gets the blame. A lot of the same people that think he should have gone for it on that 4th and 2, if they would have gone for it and not gotten it, most of those same people would have said, "What are you doing? It's 4th down. You had the lead." So it just goes to show how hard it is to be a head coach. But if Kyle Shanahan isn't careful, he's going to start getting all the talk that he can't win a big game. But I think he did good to get this far with a quarterback who can't throw. I personally think Trey Lance will be their starting quarterback next year, but we'll wait and find out. But on to the college football way too early top 25 poll. I wasn't going to do one because it's February and the season doesn't start till September, but we all know tomorrow is National Signing Day. So a lot of this will probably change between now and the time that the actual poll comes out in June or July, because there's some teams that are expected to do good tomorrow but won't do that good, and then there are some teams that aren't supposed to do good tomorrow that'll end up shocking some people and do pretty good. So we'll go ahead and talk about it now, and then we'll look at it again in June or July and see how close they are to each other. So this is the way too early college football 2022 poll that came out one day last week. Number one, of course, is Alabama. Speaking of Alabama, a buddy of mine from work asked me the other day about the transfer portal, and I told him that, I hate it. I don't like it, but it has to slow down at some point, at some time, because these teams can only have so many players on scholarship. So you can't continuously go out in the portal, especially teams like Alabama that's already picked up 8 or 9 guys. You can't go out and get 8, 9, 10 players every year in the transfer portal and then turn around and sign 25 or 30 on National Signing Day. You're only allowed so many scholarships. So at some time, it has to slow down. But right now, it looks bad for college football, and these players are just transferring for any reason they want to. And a lot of the rumor about Jim Harbaugh wanting out of Michigan has to do with the transfer portal. And I know Jim Harbaugh always said that his dream job was Michigan, and not many coaches leave their dream job. Normally you have to be ran off from your dream job, but Jim Harbaugh says he doesn't like it because you're not just recruiting players to come to your school on National Signing Day. You pretty much now have to recruit them every single day and go to them on almost a daily basis and say, "Are you happy? Are you satisfied? What can I do for you?" And Jim Harbaugh just says that's too much work. You're not just recruiting 1 or 2 times a year. You're recruiting your players almost every single day to try to make sure that they don't leave. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Georgia, and number 4 is Texas A&M. We know what that means. They'll come out in the top 5, and they'll go 8-4. Number 5 is Notre Dame. Number 6 is Utah. Number 7 is Clemson. Number 8 is Oklahoma State. Number 9 is Michigan. And rounding out the way too early top 10 poll is Wake Forest. Number 11 is Oregon. Number 12 is Baylor. Number 13 is Pittsburgh. Number 14 is Michigan State. 15 is NC State. 16 is Houston, 17 is Arkansas, 18 is Kentucky, 19 is Iowa, and number 20 is Oklahoma. And then 21 through 25 is USC, BYU, Wisconsin, Tennessee, and the Bearcats of Cincinnati round out the top 25. So good luck to everybody's team tomorrow, with National Signing Day being just around the horizon. Any thoughts on the way too early poll, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Before I tell the dad joke, let me tell you that this dad joke brings back nostalgia for me, and I'll tell you why right after I tell the dad joke. A weasel walks into a bar. The bartender asks, "What can I get you?" "Pop," goes the weasel. And that is your dad joke of the day, and there may be some of you that don't understand that joke. To me, it's funny because growing up, there was always a lot of Northerners and West Coast people that picked on Southerners because when they wanted something to drink, they wouldn't say, "Get me a Coke," or a Mountain Dew, or Pepsi. They would always say, "I want a pop." And for the longest time, I never understood that because nobody in my immediate family said pop. You know, we all said what we wanted, whether it was Sprite, tea, whatever. But then when I went and seen my dad's side of the family, which lives in Tennessee, they used to always say pop. And it would drive me crazy because when somebody would say pop, I didn't know if they were talking Pepsi, Coke, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb, but to them it's all pop. They call it all pop. So for me, that dad joke is nostalgia because I can think of being 8, 9, 10 years old and hearing my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side of the family say, "Oh, get me a pop." And that used to drive me up the wall because I always wondered, am I getting the right thing? Am I getting the wrong thing? I didn't know. I didn't know what pop meant. So for the longest time when I heard Northerners and West Coast people talk about pop, I thought, well, what are they talking about? And then I realized what they were talking about. But let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. That does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.